To a point that Seth and I were talking about, Seth, you mentioned the loss of that water is quite a important commodity in Barbados, and is it true that the infrastructure, the piping is Victorian, so there is a lot of water loss? Is that true? Is that
Yeah,
am I right?
there is a lot of infrastructure work that needs to be done. I think they've estimated it over $1 billion needs to be spent over the next 20 years. But obviously it's a very grey area because it's such an old system. They don't know exactly where all the leaks are, and there are traffic problems because a lot of the pipes are going under major roads and that type of thing. So water loss and the electrical cost of water pumping is a factor for sure. So obviously if houses now do have a reuse system, is beneficial, but for the average person to start buying a pump and a filter and a new water tank and then replumb their house to be reusing it, it's just not practical for the general public, sure.
Right. So where do you see the avenues for change and innovation so that Barbados as a whole can prosper? And where do you think people can start if they want to do something to bring in that general economic prosperity? Where can people start? Even if it's a small step.
I think that a little bit of home gardening for everyone is a step in the right direction. I mean, if you don't have a garden, obviously it's going to be difficult, but even growing from pots, small amounts of food which don't have any pesticides, they're naturally organic, is a step in the right direction. So that for me would be the starting point for everyone. And it's very enjoyable and relaxing for a lot of people as well. It's a good hobby.
Definitely.
So is that why you feature it in your projects? The kind of the gardening, and is that why you feature? Because you said that you've got green spaces in your projects.
Yeah.
Landscaping is very important because really a house without landscaping isn't necessarily that attractive. And tropical gardens are beautiful, so it's a nice environment to live in. The air you breathe is better and it looks beautiful. So it's really something that everyone should incorporate, in my opinion.
And are your projects? What I'm gathering is that the projects that you're invested in, they're not just people physically being there, but it's more a metaphysical aspect. It's feeling good. It's that spiritual aspect. Am I in the right line?
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, your environment tends to. Your environment is mostly responsible for how you respond or how you feel. So if you're in an environment where it's very sterile, you may not have the same reaction as when you decide that you're gonna go out and sit under a tree. So I personally enjoy being in nature, being in green spaces, and I know Seth does as well, and that's one of the reasons why we kind of incorporate it, because at the end of the day, when you build something for someone, or when you want them to be able to enjoy the space that they're living in, but you also want to be able to enjoy the space that is surrounding them. So like gardens and trees, and what we've started to look at too is not necessarily just trees themselves, but fruit trees, you know, things that you can just maybe just walk up to and pick, you know. Sometimes if you just walk up to a little shrub and you see a fruit and you know that it's edible and you just pick it off and you just get it, you know, you can't get much fresher than that. And then you're like, oh, well, this is pretty nice. So this is kind of the environment that I've grown up in Barbados, where everybody kind of has some sort of tree knocking around their house. If it's not a mango, it's like a breadfruit, soursop or something. And you can just go outside, grab a fruit off the tree, you know, eat it right there. And, you know, it feels much better than being in a very sterile environment, which is, I would say, city-based or city-like.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily like a favorite of mine. So I think we kind of translate that into our designs, hoping that, you know, others would enjoy it as well.
Absolutely. And I definitely can resonate with that because my parents are Caribbean. And I think that's part of the Caribbean mindset. It's to not only go home, but to have a space, not just to live, but to grow your own food, to be self-sufficient, to be close to the land, to be close to nature. And so even when I've spoken to either Caribbean people based in the UK or in the Middle East, they've always got something like a little pot plant. They're growing food, or in their garden they're growing cucumbers, tomatoes. I think that's very much part of the Caribbean mindset, Caribbean experience.
It is, because like everybody or most people either will have a backyard or they will have a fruit tree, and recently there's been a lot of people trying to do like their own thing in the yard. They will either get some cans or some pots or just find a little space and they will start growing. And you're seeing it more and more, but like Seth said, like being able to have it available to everyone, it's kind of where it needs to go, where everybody, you know, has the opportunity to grow their own food in their yard. You know, and I think we've been looking at maybe ways that we can actually like bring something like that towards, I don't know, like individuals, where it's not necessarily something difficult for them to do. They don't necessarily need a lot of space to do it, but they're able to actually get it done in, you know, maybe in tight spaces, because sometimes you don't always have like a huge garden or a huge space. But if you're able to maybe grow a few heads of lettuce, you know, or maybe grow some tomatoes or some cucumbers or something, like somewhere in your space, it gives you something that you can do, that you don't even need to go to the supermarket for these things, because it's just available. There's nothing better than being able to walk outside, cut your own herbs, pick your own fruit or vegetables and cook it. You know, that's, to me, that's special.
Yeah, to me it's complete ultimate freedom and self-autonomy.